My name is Nima Moran. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Michael's son-in-law. Just wanted to take a second and thank you all for being here, because with everything going on in our community, I know it's been difficult. Some of you have probably bought new outfits in the last couple of days just to be at this event. So we're very grateful. I want you to all, take a second today and try to get your inner Mike, right? Compliment someone on their outfit, share your jacket if someone's cold, and excuse me. And most importantly, just be kind. So next up for us is Scott Dunn, who many of you already know. Scott was Michael's very first partner, joining the practice way back in 1987. After a few years with Mike, Scott left his medical practice to follow his first love, music, and he achieved unbelievable success. He has earned an international reputation as a pianist, conductor, and arranger, and is the associate conductor of the Hollywood Bowl Orchestra and the founding director of a newly formed filmed orchestra and known as the Wallace in Beverly Hills. I would like to introduce Scott Dunn, please. The next speaker is someone very special to Michael. In our world of surgery, the biggest compliment you can receive is taking care of doctors or their family members. And Michael used to always say about our next speaker that there's no one better that he would recommend to a family member to or another surgeon to than Rom Kandavel. Rom, come on up. It's a huge deal to say that, because taking care of another surgeon or another surgeon's family is a glory in itself, because it's so respectful and there's so much honor in that. So thank you, Rom, and thank you for always being a great partner to Michael.
Yeah, thanks everybody. It's kind of tough because I just learned I was the second best surgeon Mike ever hired, so it's kind of hitting me hard right now. Yeah, it's lovely, Scott. Thank you for all you do. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for all being here today. I know Mike never desired acknowledgement, but the presence of everyone here today is a testament to the indelible mark that he left on everybody he ever met. I'm Rom. Mike was my mentor, my partner, and my friend. I'd like to think that the description that best suits our relationship was he was my work dad. And that, I guess, might make me his work son. I first met Mike in July of 2005. I was fresh out of my ophthalmology residency, and I was eager, I was nervous, and I was still finding my footing as a doctor and as a person. At that time, Mike was 58 years old. He was just 8 years older than I am now. We practiced ophthalmology together till he passed when he was 78. And that realization strikes me very deeply, that, the 20 years we worked together went so quickly. It reminds me of how fleeting time is and how profoundly one person can shape another's journey if they try. And Mike always tried. From the moment I met Mike, I knew I was in the presence of greatness. I think that we all have felt that at one time or another. He was incredibly special. He wasn't just an exceptional physician. He was a man of remarkable depth, unwavering integrity, and boundless generosity. Everything he did, everything he said had purpose and was tempered by an incredible kindness. Nima said it earlier, just try to be kind. That's not Nima. Somebody who looks like Nima. Got it. He was so incredibly genuine, the real deal. Once he met you for 5 minutes, there was nothing he would not do for you. He had a rare ability to always see the best in people, often before they saw it in themselves. I think a lot of us who have worked with him for so long can say that now, looking back at it. And when Mike believed in you, man, he truly believed in you, more than you might believe in yourself. When I first started practice with Mike, I didn't really know what I was doing personally, medically, surgically, everything. Maybe I did, but I was uncertain, and the drive to succeed was there, but I had so much doubt. And Mike supported me in every way from day one. Before I even operated, Mike told me I was a great surgeon. So how the hell do you know? In the beginning, that was not true, but it was that, it wasn't that he had some mystical ability to know what might become, or maybe that you might get better at what you do, but it was that he understood something far more powerful, and that was the influence of his belief. I mean, he believed so many things, he brought them into being. He knew that by supporting people, by instilling confidence in them, that he could help them to become what they wanted to be or what they were meant to be. And he did that for so many people over his life. Countless medical students, employees, people in industry, other businesses, academics, leaders, and strangers, lots and lots of strangers. People he had just met or didn't know. He was a believer and always generous supporter. He also did it for me countless times. I remember one day, not long after I joined practice, Mike asked me to do his LASIK surgery. And I hesitated, I wasn't yet sure if I was ready to do something that nerve-wracking, but he was. He had complete faith in me for no reason at all. That was Mike. He always was encouraging, always building others up, always seeing not just who we were, but who we would become or could become. And I think he knew that I could do it. But if I did do it, more importantly, I'd be confident, more confident forever. And I was. And he could have asked someone else to do it, perhaps somebody who's here today. And they could probably do it better than I did. But instead, he literally put his eyes and his livelihood on the line not more than a few months after I started, so he could bolster my confidence. It was quite a gamble. Once after a particularly difficult surgery, I certainly doubted my abilities many times and still do. I reluctantly confided in him, expecting criticism or perhaps a suggestion to slow down or do it a different way. Instead, he looked at me and in his signature confidence and said, "Remember, once a horse gets bit, he always sees snakes, but they are not really there, so get back on your damn horse." His faith in people was unshakable, and because of that, he lifted so many of us to heights we never thought were possible. Mike was a man of extraordinary moral depth. He carried quite strength, a quiet strength, a dignity that set him apart. He was truly spiritual, somewhat religious. Primarily, he believed in the virtue of the golden rule. On his desk, amongst pictures of his family and closest friends, were two portraits, Nelson Mandela and the Dalai Lama. They were ornately framed in a golden border, and it reflected the high regard that he kept the correct people in this world at all times. He would sit there every day and have them staring back at him. I mean, who keeps a picture of the Dalai Lama on their desk? Only a person who is a saint unto himself. Others might have their favorite athlete or leader. Mike had the Dalai Lama, and it wasn't just admiration. He lived by those principles of fairness and kindness and humility every day. Now I also have an ornate singular frame on my desk, of somebody. Guess who's in the frame? No doubt Mike is in heaven, whatever that means to you and to him. There's no doubt in my mind. Beyond his character, Mike was, in no uncertain terms, one of the true pioneers of modern ophthalmology. He would never have called himself that. It wouldn't allow it. His humility would not allow it. But the truth is undeniable. One of his first innovations was an ingenious infrared pupillometer that could measure a patient's pupil in the dark, and essentially it was a perfect function for LASIK surgery, and it carried his name, the Colvard-Pupillometer. And then based on its actual and profound utility, it found itself into just about every LASIK surgeon's hands in every clinic in all the United States and around the world. Not bad for his first contribution to ophthalmology. Of course, Mike taught at USC and UCLA for decades. Hundreds of ophthalmologists, maybe thousands, owe their skills to him. He won numerous teaching awards and recognition for his dedicated years of service to medical education. A former resident, now a prominent retina surgeon, shared with me recently that residents would fight over the OR time that Mike proctored at the university, because they all wanted to learn from the best. Mike published a textbook of modern cataract surgery that continues to be an instrument of teaching throughout the country in residencies everywhere. And, in the first year, he made a deal with the publicist, and he made sure that every residency received a free copy that first year. He wouldn't publish it without that assurance. Beyond being a profound educator and an innovator, something that you may not know, in my opinion, my humble opinion, he is one of the true fathers of modern ophthalmic surgery, perhaps one of the most influential ophthalmologists, if not the most, in my humble opinion. How could this be? Well, Mike was part of the original team of doctors that secured the FDA approval for the first premium lens here in the United States for cataract surgery called the crystal lens. The innovation transformed cataract surgery, but Mike's impact went beyond the clinical trials and the surgical advancements, because along with his dear friend Andy Corley, who's here today, Mike played a crucial role in securing the first legal exemption from Congress and from Medicare that allowed patients access to cutting-edge technology at their own cost. a novel idea. Well, that industry-changing exemption catalyzed a revolution in ophthalmic technology by providing funding for all future technology that came after it, to this present day and beyond. Astigmatism-correcting lenses, presbyopia-correcting lenses, and laser cataract surgery, to name a few, all because of Mike's work. Countless people worldwide will benefit forever from vision-enhancing technologies that would never have existed if not for Mike and others. He was a pioneer, an educator, an advocate. He was all of these things while remaining one of the most humble men I have ever known. In no uncertain terms, Mike was one of the fathers of modern cataract surgery. His legacy will endure forever. Perhaps his greatest legacy, though, wasn't a textbook. It wasn't surgery, a surgical technique. It wasn't a regulatory change. It was an example. It was the example he set for all of us. He embodied what it meant to be a physician and a person, not just the technical skills, but the ethics and the compassion and the selflessness. He gave everything to his patients, to his colleagues, to anyone he could help in any way. He was the kind of doctor, the kind of person that all of us should strive to be. Mike's depth of character was not just evident in his profession. It was present in everything he did. I don't know if you guys know this about him, but he was a star football player. He was a high school state champion, and colleges were eager to recruit him. But Mike had no interest in the attention or the racial culture that often surrounded football in the South in the 1960s. So what did he do? He chose Emory that does not have a football team. He gave it all up for a higher purpose. That's who he was. He didn't chase status. He just followed his purpose. Mike, if you know him well, Mike hated conflict. If he thought that he had disappointed someone or left a request unfulfilled, it genuinely troubled him. He would not sleep. He would go to great lengths to make things right, and often at his own expense. If it meant someone else could be happy, that was enough for Mike. That would make him happy too. The folks that benefited daily were his countless patients that he would call faithfully on the day of surgery, every single surgery day, ensuring their comfort, providing reassurance, and personally overseeing their recovery. These habits rubbed off on us, Justin, Steve, and I, and we call our patients every day after surgery, a small inkling of what he left behind. In fact, after he passed, there were so many folks that I've now discovered that he was helping for his entire career, like decades, for free, supplementing them with free medications and medical care, all as a silent gesture to right some of the wrongs that the world might have dealt those people. Many of them had no insurance. As an example, I caught wind through his nonprofit, Friends of Vision, that in addition to 30 years of medical missions to Africa and establishing a school, a farm, and communities in Namibia, he was and is currently supporting 2 boys through college there. I don't honestly know how many more of these thankless gestures I'm going to discover, but we will try to continue those efforts, Mike, and I will try to initiate more. Mike loved his work and the people that he worked with. His example of unwavering ethical and expert care is the foundation by which many of us now try to continue in those places of business and of care. Many people Mike hired and provided livelihood for are here today. But most of all, he provided a loving home for his patients and his employees. He was an expert technician, an amazing physician, but he was literally too kind. I would witness him making unfavorable financial decisions for himself, because when faced with the happiness of his staff versus making an extra buck, Mike would always choose his staff. He understood without good people he surrounded himself with constantly, he could never accomplish what he wanted. He was very generous, too generous. I think without the loving guidance of his longtime administrator, Pam Klein, and her husband, Alan, who's here today, I think Mike's practice would also have been a nonprofit. I remember Mike would tell me, Rom, a practice is like a garden you have to tend every day. You cannot just plant seeds and walk away. You have to constantly look after it. Well, he was right, but if Mike was the only gardener in our garden, he would not pull any weeds. He would not kill an intruding gopher. I think his garden would definitely be organic and GMO-free. If you left it to him, I think all he would do is spare no expense on the fertilizer. He would water it constantly, and he would share an endless supply of his eternal sunshine. Fortunately, he had great friends and colleagues, and he was a great leader, motivator, and led by example. He would find good people and get out of their way. That was what he did really, really well. One of them is his lifelong friend and mentor to me too, Dr. Bob Konauer, who's here today. The two of them, with a fantastic supporting cast of great surgeons and partners, nurses and administrators like Perry Lyon, and technicians like Regina Matthews, and many more, have nurtured and grown the most prolific eye surgery center here in the Valley, Freedom Vision Surgery Center, which many of us use today and has been in continuous operation since 1996. It's a magical place of healing and patient care that will continue to serve the community that Mike worked in. Thanks to Mike. When I first met him, Mike was always so humble. He drove the most meager, broken down gray Acura you could ever imagine. It was all beat up, and there was paint falling off of it, and it made noises that no car or human should make. And he drove that thing forever, and anyone else in his position might have upgraded to something more fitting of an ophthalmic surgeon, but he simply didn't care. It didn't make a difference. He didn't care about appearances. He cared about his work. He cared about making a difference. That car was a testament to who he was, unpretentious, dedicated, and completely focused on what truly matters. More than anything, I miss him. I miss his kindness, his wisdom, his unwavering belief in good people. I miss his laughter, his love for life, and the way he made those around him better just by being who he was. I miss his soft hands. If you've ever shaken Mike's hands, I'd like to make a purse if I could. Or a wallet. I'd like a wallet. I just wish I had shook them more. It all went too fast. To think that he was just 8 years older than I am now when I first met him, it makes me realize how precious time is and how much we take for granted and what we would give for just a little bit more time. Mike had a quote in the office hanging in the kitchen now, which many of us see every day. And I often use it to guide my professional and personal life. And I think it really speaks to really what Mike has left behind, and that is a quote from Maya Angelou. I've learned that people will forget what you said. People will forget what you did. But people will never forget how you made them feel. And that was Mike's true gift. He made everyone he met feel valued, supported, and capable of greatness. If there is one lesson Mike leaves us with, is that the greatest impact we can have is not what we accomplish for ourselves, but in what we inspire in others. And by that measure, Mike's legacy is immeasurable. Needless to say, I and others owe everything to Mike Colvard. Personally, he gave me my career, my passion, my drive, my life as I know it. I literally owe him everything. Thank you, Mike. We will carry your lessons, your kindness, and your love of life with us always. Thank you all for being here.